So this is episode 10. We have an author, father, MMA fighter, and damn, there's so much comedian, right?
That's probably my favorite.
All right, who do we have in front? Let everybody know what your name is and
Uh,
what do you
my
go by.
my name is Ryan Attebery. I go by Reckless MMA on all platforms, and soon to be Reckless Media since I'm transitioning out of purely MMA. I do very little MMA content.
Yeah,
I know I got that in my pocket, so it's like there's no challenge in it if that makes sense.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So
So we've been shooting for a minute now, bro.
okay,
We've
almost
been
10,
shooting since like 2017,
17. Yeah,
maybe.
yeah. It had to
Uh,
be 17 or 18.
Yeah, because I was talking to Ricky. I was just like,
Mm.
yeah, I've been documenting this guy since like 2017 when I first started. You and I think Ricky,
Yeah, me and
right?
Ricky. Yeah, we
Yeah,
started off as amateurs,
yeah. You guys were
both
like,
undefeated.
you guys were up and coming. You
Yeah.
guys were up and coming, holding it down.
Mm.
For 5150 at the time,
Yep.
right?
Yeah.
And then as it progressed over the years, the last time we got in front with the mic was I think it was like either a year ago. I think it was a year ago, and you
Yeah.
were the first guest that I had, bro. And unfortunately, that one, like, I was still learning a whole bunch of stuff. So I feel like now we're having our redemption moment.
Mhm.
So I appreciate you
Yeah.
being here today.
And I feel like I had no idea what I was doing. I didn't know my like identity online
Yeah.
because I'm not really an actor, so I have to be myself, but I have many, different boxes I fit in.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
I feel
100%.
like I showed you all the boxes and trying to,
At the time, yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, at the time. How do you feel now then compared to a year ago? Because it was literally a year ago.
I feel like a veteran already,
Okay.
especially when it comes to like social media and stuff like that. Like,
Yeah.
we spoke on last time because of like the life I grew up in and the people that
Yeah.
I grew up around when they passed away, like, and them getting like made fun of or so I've learned hard lessons. So comments and shit already don't bother me. Like if I
Yeah.
comment back, it's just because I caught that one and I
Yeah.
thought of a comeback. But I feel like I'm very I'm very comfortable now. I'm not really trying to find my groove or my what's the word I'm looking for, like
Uh,
niche.
well,
Like
you know what, bro? If when it comes to you, I think one thing that I can like that comes to mind is that you're 100% you, right? You're authentic and you don't play a face, right? Like you mentioned earlier, you're not acting. Like
yeah.
what you see on your profile is what you get, you
And,
know?
and it was very reassuring too, because I felt like when I overthought it, like as far as like a caption or a punchline,
Yeah.
like whenever I put a lot of effort into it, I
Right.
felt like it didn't do as well as I anticipated.
Yeah.
And then anytime I just really just the first thought that popped in my head, anytime I just posted it, it's like 9.4 million,
Yeah.
2 point, you know what I'm saying? So it's like I learned to just trust myself
Right.
and just be me, and the
Yeah.
rest will take care of itself.
So for the people that don't know, just let them know how many, I guess, like, bro, you've been getting like banger after banger as far
Yeah.
as like media goes. Like,
Yeah, so in 2022, I got stabbed on camera. So I posted, so I went viral off that, but it's kind of a cheat code. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's no talent in that, if that makes sense, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And so, but it gave me a false sense of like reality, like, oh, this is easy. You know what I'm saying? So,
Right. Not the stabbing part.
no,
Yeah,
no,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, just viral,
Right.
going
Yeah, the viral
viral.
moment. Yeah.
And because anybody can go viral once,
Yeah.
especially on TikTok.
Okay.
So, cause that's where I have most of my followers. I just don't spend a lot of time on there because I don't know the algorithm yet. I haven't
Okay.
figured it out. I always get flagged
Oh, gotcha.
because I'm
Yeah, it's
still
more
ghetto. So
regulated on
like,
there.
a lot of my content is still like just retarded shit from the.
Right, right.
But and then 2023, just trial and error. And like I said, I wasn't sure if I was going this route either. So I was like half-assing it. I'd go post for like a month and then go away.
Right.
And then my friend sent me a video and I was like, post this. It's gonna go viral. It
Yeah.
was the one of the bipping in San Francisco where they break the windows to the car. I
Yeah.
mean, still like stuff from the car. The dude, for whatever reason, instead of opening the car door, he jumps out the window and falls.
What?
So I already knew that was a banger. Like I
Yeah.
knew, but he told me to do it, post it or whatever for whatever reason, and I posted it, and it just fell. And
Yeah.
then we got in the car accident on camera. We're at the stop sign, and the car hits us.
You were with your
My daughters.
yeah, your daughter.
Yeah, I was just waiting for them to hit the Keisha Cole love, and they sing better than I do. But and then I went viral, but I gave that to Mercer Street News because I knew it would go further on that,
On that
and
platform.
then it would kind of give me something to like study,
Okay.
something to analyze, right?
Right.
And I said like April, May, I started getting like more people watching, like Andrew Schultz, Shane Gillis, like comedian, like they just
Yeah.
pop into my like stories every once in a while, and I was like,
Yeah.
that's cool, you know.
Yeah. How'd you feel when that started kind of happening?
At first, I felt like it was just like a little lucky, right?
Okay.
But then I go and it's like at this point I'll post something and it'll be like 6 viewers and like 4 of them are like A-list, so
Okay.
not celebrities but comedians and stuff like that. And it started off with me just tagging them and stuff like that. But now my name pops up on there. You know, when you watch stories often, they'll pop up.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I got like Kais and that and like a lot of them.
Checking you out.
Yes, but I'd say since May, I really like found my groove. There was a video
Hmm.
of this big steroid out, like crackhead, like tweaker Marine.
Uh-huh.
And it was 30 minutes, but when I all the parts that I seen that were funny, I just edited it.
Okay.
That's like 1 minute.
Yeah.
And then there was a part that sounded like a WWE promo.
Oh, okay.
He's
Okay.
like, I had my blood, my sweat, my tears.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he sounded more like Macho Man, Randy
Okay.
Savage. But I figured I'd beat someone to the. It was a low hanging fruit joke.
Okay.
It was like the last thing Chris Benoit said to his
Oh,
family.
damn.
And
Bro.
and then obviously people don't know. They don't know how to read in context these
Yeah.
days. So that blew. That hit like 6 million.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh,
Then like,
caption
yeah.
is bigger, is more important.
Yeah. The hook.
And then the video, the whole minute edit I did,
Yeah.
that went viral as well. I hit like 1 million on that. That's like,
Yeah.
like 980,000, same shit.
Okay.
But it gave me a lot of material to analyze.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I posted when Drake Bell,
Oh,
the
yeah.
whole Nickelodeon shit came out.
Yeah. With Drake and Josh.
I just, because me and my son, we grew up together.
Okay.
Like, I was a kid with him. So I just walk into his bedroom door and I'm like, hey, if you got molested by a Nickelodeon producer, would you tell me? And he goes, yeah. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
And then that did like 300,000 or 400,000. So then I was like, oh, okay.
Like, you know what works.
It started being more consistent, 50,000, 100,000, a million,
Yeah.
because I think in 2024, and once I found my groove,
Okay.
I think I got like 40 million views that year.
Damn.
And then my followers are starting to go up now,
Yeah.
but wasn't necessarily making content that like you needed to follow.
You were
It
just
was
like
all over the
reacting.
place. I was studying a lot. Like I'd go to my story and I'd post probably the same story like
Okay.
3 hours apart, 4 hours apart, and then analyze how the views do it and how much better is to do there.
Yeah.
Because what they say on Google is the best time doesn't necessarily,
Reflect what.
yeah,
Different
it's not
needs,
everybody.
different
It's not one size fits all.
Yeah.
So I just and I started experimenting, started setting posts at 5:30 a.m., 6:30 a.m.,
Okay.
and then you start getting audience members. I mean, like you start getting more viewers from New York, the
Right.
UK, Australia,
Yeah.
like out of
Just hitting like worldwide.
right, yeah.
Oh, let's talk about like the early stages. So before you were on your route to becoming like well, I mean, what do you consider yourself right now? A content creator or what?
Yeah, just content creator. Nothing
Okay.
crazy yet.
Before you were on the route to be a content creator, you were on route to be like a MMA fighter, right?
Yeah.
So I guess like what was the process like going from training to get into the ring to now analyzing and creating like
To me, it's like totally different. To be like, not to like, a lot of people play up the street stuff and play up like, oh, I was this, I was that.
Yeah.
I've always had this charisma and I've always wanted to be out there, but because of the things that I was participating in, I didn't necessarily want to be out in the public.
Yeah.
I was working graveyard shifts. I was training, like I stayed out the way. I went from being like popular in school and all that to like, unless they ran into me, like left alone.
be like low key?
Right. So and I kind of fell in love with that.
Okay.
So that was really the battle, was like, do I want to put myself out there or not?
Yeah.
And then but I was doing it on my own terms.
Right.
And then the principal thing happened.
Oh, in Atwater, right?
Right.
Okay.
And then that necessarily wasn't on my terms.
Yeah, yeah.
But I don't get bothered by the comments, and I was getting
Right.
way more positive feedback
Yeah.
and the messages from professional, people who can't really comment publicly because of their job.
Right. Yeah, yeah.
So the good was outweighing the bad. It's just
Yeah.
the bad was very loud.
Yeah.
But that's when I realized, like, oh no, I could do this. Negative to positive,
Yeah.
because that was something that happened locally.
Right.
And it's like, if I had demons or I had skeletons in my closet,
Yeah.
that was the moment to find out. You know what I'm saying?
Damn.
And there's a couple people who said some shit, but I was like, those people used to buy drugs from me. What the fuck you talking about? Like,
So another thing too, bro, is that I feel like what you're doing with your content, right? Like with that incident that happened, and then also like revealing certain things in schools that people aren't
Right.
aware of. I think what you're doing is obviously good, right? Because I mean,
Look how many teachers have been caught since then too.
because like yeah, obviously like all that pedo shit, like you know what I mean. Like
Yeah.
we don't fuck with that. I just think that people don't probably understand like the dynamics of it, bro. Because like you're saying it like just like this is what's going on, right? You're putting it out there, you're putting
Yeah.
like the honest truth, and sometimes it's like hard for people to
Right.
comprehend. Like
Yeah.
this is somebody that I know.
Right. And I got attacked a lot about that shit too. But at the same time, I'm one of those people, like, I'm the same person with 100 people that I am by myself.
Yeah,
And if I believe in something, I'll die on that hill.
yeah.
I'm retarded, basically. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm a fool.
You go all in,
Yeah, yeah. And it was like,
passionate.
and everybody, and the reason I kept at it, because I was like kind of poking at it. And I feel a little bad for the principal himself,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
the people who are just being, attacking my kid, like, oh, you better hope your kid doesn't get picked on at school. Yeah,
Yeah.
there's easier fights, trust me.
yeah, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, my kid's a fucking ninja and he's big. Like, like,
Yeah.
there's easier fights.
Right.
The reality of it is we already knew what happened the next day. I just didn't put it out in the public because that's the school's business. And my video didn't go viral. I didn't know that at first, but you don't really get your analytics
Yeah.
Facebook for a few days.
Right.
So it went viral somewhere else, but I had the clear video.
Because it went on the news, right?
Right. I had the clear video, so they hit me up.
Yeah.
But my video went viral 2 days after he got, when they sent out that mass email,
Yeah,
they
yeah.
doomed themselves. That's when the media got into it.
Yeah.
However, what I did do is now I have phone numbers of NBC producers,
Yeah.
ABC producers, Inside Edition, and I actually got for People Magazine, like most of that is my writings.
Yeah.
And they just inserted their questions. They gave me like the green light in the email. So I basically, in my head, I wrote an article in a sense, right?
Yeah.
But also, that's my neighborhood that I grew up in. In my neighborhood, I grew up around, and I mean this term with like all due respect, like to the fullest like capacity.
Right.
But I grew up in a bison neighborhood. So a lot of like I've had friends who got expelled basically just because like they couldn't properly defend themselves
Right.
articulate, like, how do you say, like,
Yeah.
they couldn't articulate themselves properly, or their moms would just get brushed under the rugs because, right? And coming up in that culture, I know how serious some parents do, because they're in high school, they should know,
better.
the birds and the bees, but the reality of it is, like, some of these kids don't.
Yeah.
And that's why I zoomed in to the back, is because if you see, like, even the guys are like,
Yeah.
like, zoom into those kids' faces.
Yeah.
My son, he was recording because the guy had one arm, the mascot. I seen that, and then I was like, whatever.
Right.
But what that did do is it taught me about the business, not the business side, but the entertainment side.
Okay.
I learned some things. I learned some production value. I learned some lessons. Like I said, and it was a lot of, what's what I'm looking for? Reassurance.
Okay.
Or like validation.
Okay.
That I'm like, oh, okay, I know what I'm doing. And like, not to get all sappy, but the real thing is, and I can show you the message later, my best friend committed suicide. They say it was June 6th, but that was the day he was found.
Yeah.
Of 2024.
Okay.
And he was the one who's been telling me to do this shit.
Damn.
So I had just started 2-3 weeks before he died.
Damn.
And like, he's very, like, by far the most, like, encouraging and like supportive friend like that I've had.
Yeah.
And he was at my pro debut, my amateur debut. He rode in the trunk actually. He was like 6'1", 6'2",
Yeah.
And he had a lot of we shared a lot of childhood traumas. The only difference is I'm a fighter through and through.
Yeah.
And I figured it out. But also I have my resets at my house, meaning no matter how depressed I get, no matter how low I get, I see my kids.
Yeah.
I get to reset.
Yeah.
He moved back to Houston where he was from.
Right.
He didn't necessarily have that in the
Support
moment where he
system.
needed it the most,
Yeah.
So him passing away, that's why a lot of this comedy and shit like that is when like the book comes out. It's a very serious book. It's a very like emotional book. It's a very deep book. But also a lot of this, I do a lot of good when it comes to men's mental health. Like the way, like psychologically what the ghetto does to a mind.
Okay.
I know firsthand, and I've kind of made it out the darkness part.
Okay.
But also I've had a lot of professional help too.
Yeah.
Since I've got stabbed, I've had like 6 or 7 psychiatrists like that really.
Okay, let's talk about that moment because we kind of just like past it. You know what I mean? Like you kind of
Yeah, I was
just
trying to
like,
avoid it. I was trying to avoid it, like talking about him, but it
yeah,
was like, yeah, a lot of it has to do with his passing and me going full force after that.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Because like,
Yeah, you got to keep me on schedule.
no, because obviously like that, you know, like getting stabbed isn't something that like everybody experiences.
Right.
So like when that happened, like I don't know, talk about it, bro. Was that like a
I,
cliche thing where people say like your life flashes before your eyes, or was it just more like survival type of thing?
nah, so when I got stabbed, to be honest with you, like, I remember sitting there and just feeling bad for my kids. Like, fuck.
Yeah,
Like, damn. Like, especially my little girls, like, and my oldest son, too. Like, I'm his only parent,
yeah,
his only real parent. Like, without me, who knows what happens? Who knows where he goes, you know? So I remember, like, looking at my phone and just, like, being like, fuck. Because I'm a very selfless person. Like, I ran in fires for dogs and shit.
damn.
So, like, I just remember looking at my phone and just being like, but it was weird because my injuries were so severe that I couldn't really move anymore after that point.
Ooh,
So
yeah,
like there's severity, like there's different levels to getting shot and getting stabbed. Like as people get shot and stabbed, they're out the next day. Like they're out hours later. Like I got resuscitated. So it's a deeper psychological, effect that had on me that I didn't really,
yeah.
expect to happen.
Hmm.
Cause like I remember like specific like being like, damn, this is after I'm unconscious or some
Okay,
shit. I might have been in surgery. I don't remember. It's kind of, once I lost consciousness, it's kind of like,
it's kind of hard to like
it's
map
like
it out.
skips through, you know?
Yeah,
Like, I don't remember the helicopter ride. I remember like waking up or like before, as I'm getting to the ambulance, being like, am I going to make it?
yeah.
And then being like, we're going to try our best. And I remember being like, you could have lied to me.
Damn,
Like, you know what I'm saying? But
damn.
so that was kind of my last, conscious memory.
Okay,
And then, so it wasn't like it wasn't like a darkness, like an unsettling darkness, but it was like I didn't see my family, I didn't see
yeah,
the whole, but it was just something was there with me,
okay,
like a shadow, like energy, like, and it was like, and I feel bad saying this is something I kind of keep to myself
okay,
but I accepted that I died, and the reason I feel bad is because you should never accept it, fight as much as you can,
yeah,
because my brain stayed on the whole time.
yeah.
I remember like that's why in that video when I'm losing consciousness, I remember
Ooh,
like being like I'm fighting to stay awake. That's why my
yeah.
head's going, my hands are locking up, and my heads are going.
Duh.
And I just remember being like, "Damn, I'm dead." Like that's crazy. Like I'm dead. I remember that thought happening like over and over again, while it was just pure darkness. Like whatever I
Yeah.
was dreaming about was just all dark, right? But not like hell dark. It was very
Okay.
peaceful. It was
Yeah. Yeah.
very, like I said, something was with me the whole time, and it
Yeah.
felt very like reassuring.
Okay.
You know, and like I just accepted it. Like it is what it is. That's kind of how I always been. Like if you get, when there's nothing you can do about it.
Damn, bro.
But to the point where like it's on record. Like my first words when I woke up, well, my eyes didn't wake up yet, but I could talk and I could hear. But it was like I asked the doctor, "Are you God?"
Uh-huh.
And they go, "No, no, you're in the hospital." Because my girlfriend was on the other side of the curtain, and they
Okay.
put me in surgery to get the chest tubes in and all that.
Yeah.
And then I was like, "Am I in heaven?" And they're like, "No, no." I was like, "Am I dead?" They're like, "No." I was like, "So are you God?" And he's like, "No."
Yeah.
And then that's kind of when I started like
Yeah. Everything
waking
started
up a
coming.
little bit more, yeah.
Okay.
And then I'll never forget, like that night, I told the doctor, like, I remember my thoughts. She's like, "What do you mean?" I was like, I remember what I was thinking when I was like out.
Yeah.
And I remember her walking out and go, "That's not good."
Oh, what? The doctor says that?
Yeah, just because psychologically,
Yeah. Yeah. So.
I know what she means now. Like, I have
Mm.
crazy dreams. I have like,
Oh, so it's like something that, like
and a lot of it, like,
recurring?
what bothers me the most about it is one, I was at work. Two, I'm not the type. I know what I look like, but you know my background. You know where I
Yeah.
come from, right?
Yeah.
It's a very like
Yeah. I
if
mean,
you don't do it, someone else will do it to you.
yeah.
So this was the only time in a street fight or in a fight in general where I've like showed mercy or like because one, I don't need to be fighting over a security job.
Yeah.
You punched me, that was my reaction.
Yeah.
I'm a fighter. You punch me, I punch back.
Yeah.
When I hit him and he started stumbling, I was like, that's when I stopped fighting.
Yeah.
I dropped my hands. I still stay in like a square stance, but that's just being protective, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And being able to move and maneuver the way I need to be, right? Because you got to think, I won my first 2 fights,
Hmm.
and then I lost my next 2 fights by kind of jumping up a little bit early, so I needed
Yeah.
more experience. So I took 2.5 years off
Yeah.
and trained my ass off with grapplers,
Right.
my, not so strong suit. So I was a month away from my comeback fight, and I even chose an undefeated fighter in his hometown
Damn.
to make a statement.
And that was in the Bay?
That would have been in the Bay, yeah.
Yeah.
And then, so last thing I want to do is fight.
Right. Yeah,
But
you were like,
it was
yeah,
just, once my brain turned back on, like, I was like, it's cool, bro. Like, I don't even care.
yeah.
And then, I always ask myself, did his ego stab me or did my ego get me stabbed? Because perhaps I could have just let it go.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
But when you get punched by a much bigger person and you get hit in the right spot, it was like your
You
brain.
react.
An average person doesn't understand, like, your brain just turns off.
Hmm.
So whatever you are used to doing, even in an MMA fight,
Yeah,
whatever you're used to doing in practice, when your brain turns off, that's what you'll do.
yeah,
If you don't work on, like, so my brain turned off and I just was in fight mode.
yeah.
But once I hit him and he started stumbling, even though he was big and mean and super gangster,
Right.
he's still a youngster, stealing, and he's stealing because he ain't stealing because he,
Right,
know,
yeah.
you know what I'm saying? And I've been there.
Yeah.
More like, I relate to the brown people. I relate to the black people from the ghetto. Not
Yeah.
everyone, because I even consider, like, black and brown people who grew up privileged, they're white people too.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, yeah.
they're just decent. They're just regular people.
Yeah.
But I'm come from the neighborhood where, like, it's so fucked up. People don't even have food stamps because their parents can't get their shit together long enough to even go get food stamps.
Yeah. You understand the upbringing.
So, like, last thing I want to do is knock this little. Like, he was big, but I could tell he was young. He was like 19.
Yeah.
It ended up being, but I could, last thing I want to do is fucking knock this guy out.
Your food
Like,
mix.
I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
I'm just fighting because you punched me.
Yeah.
And my whole argument with him when he came out, I was like, why'd you have to make it so fucking obvious? I had just sparred that day. I'm so sore in Stockton.
Damn.
So before work, I had sparred in Stockton. So I'm like, and I see him, like, holding everything, walking to the entrance, and I'm like,
Like you didn't want to do this, huh?
I already knew, like, the energy. Like, you know how much times I've just looked away? If they're slick with it,
Yeah.
especially like a mom dropping in like a little juice, like.
Yeah. Yeah. You're like, I'm overlooking.
But to be honest with you, they pay me very well to, like,
Right.
and it's not like we're not out there. Me personally, like, we're not out there fighting crime.
Yeah.
Like, hey, stop that.
Right. Yeah.
But over there, it's more
Like,
like
don't give me a reason.
hands-on. It's more hands-on. It's not like, they go in the parking lot. And the reason I chose to do security is so I could not break my body at work
Yeah.
and then train fully.
So train.
Right.
Yeah. So then, obviously, after all that happened, did you find out did you find out eventually that you were not going to be able to fight anymore? Like,
They told me right away.
yeah.
I just didn't believe it. I was like, all right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because I've had injuries before. I've had, other people have had injuries. You hear other stories. And you hear, like, stories of, like, Paul Pierce, who got stabbed 9 times. And do you know who Paul Pierce is?
Yeah. I think so.
Yeah, NBA player. He played
Yeah.
for the Celtics. And he got stabbed 9 times and played all 82 games. But here's the thing. He didn't get stabbed in a vital organ. He didn't get stabbed in it's not about how many times sometimes.
Yeah.
There's people who've been shot 1 time and died, and there's 56 who got shot 9 times. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I was very optimistic, like, nah, this just adds to my story.
Yeah.
And then a year goes by and you're like, well, not much has changed.
Hmm.
And 2 years go by, you're like, damn, so, like, not much has changed.
Yeah.
So then you start accepting it a little bit more.
Right.
And then my thing was, I didn't have that. I was such a competitor. Like, that was my
You're very
my
competitive.
thing. I'm very
Right.
competitive. So, like, I had to find something that made me, like, excited.
Oh,
what?
okay.
You know how hard it is to find something that's more exciting than fighting?
Damn.
You know what I'm saying?
Like something to look forward to.
Yeah,
Something
like-
to train for.
Like, imagine going from, like, one of the most extreme, like, activities
Yeah.
to, like, now your fucking shoulder don't even work the way it's supposed to. You know what I'm saying? Like, so where I got hit here, and it connects all my nerves.
Oh,
So it's
man.
my spine,
Yeah.
my shoulder. And the worst part is some days I'll feel okay, so I'll start training with my son.
Okay.
And,
And then- yeah,
so I'm learning to accept it more, learning my, like, limits.
Right.
But, like, psychologically, it's fucked up. Like, it's, like, you go your whole life being an athlete. Or, like, my kids
Yeah.
are used to going on hikes in Yellowstone, hikes, Hawaii, hikes, just hikes in general, God's Bath, like, real deal hikes,
Yeah.
to, like,
Right. Because like in your mind you can go. But
and, like, I have every excuse to, like, be all pilled out or oh, I can't help you with the house today because I'm hurting, or I can't do this. But like, I'm coaching the softball team.
Yeah.
Like, when I accepted that it's permanent,
Yeah.
I'm like, well, fuck it. Let's just do what it does. And let's just, like, I'm not gonna sit here and just
Yeah.
cry. Like, I'm still gonna try to. I just have to sit down sometimes. Maybe take a break. You know?
Yeah. Yeah. Come back from it.
And it hurts. Don't get me wrong. It hurt. Every day it hurts. Like, I'm in pain talking to you now.
Yeah.
But it's like I have a high pain tolerance for one.
Yeah.
For two, like I said, I'm a fighter through and through. Like, the reason I feel like I haven't committed suicide or like some shit like that is because I'm the type, like, the bully in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
You might whoop my ass every day, but you're gonna have to fight me every day. And that's the same way I'm with my,
Keep getting up.
because I'm bipolar as well. I found out I got diagnosed at 27. I started studying about it at 31, 32. So very late to the.
Right.
But I figured, like, I don't beat my kids. I don't kill nobody. I don't kill myself. I'm not, I'm a good husband.
I mean, you're pretty understanding, bro.
Right, right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I felt like I got it from here, but I just didn't understand it fully.
Right.
Right. So I still don't take medication for my bipolar disorder and stuff like that. But I have a lot of self-discipline, but also I have a lot of, like you said, understanding. Like,
Yeah.
I've always had a high IQ. I just stopped educating myself.
Right.
So at this point now, my education is catching up to my abilities,
Okay.
if that makes sense, right?
Yeah. So, okay. So going from obviously that traumatic experience to like accepting it, what I guess like in this position that you're in now, right? Where you said you were looking for something that excited you or to look forward to. Did you find that with the content creation or is that something that's just
I feel like,
effect of what you just like usually do?
yeah, I feel like with the content creation, it's a means to get noticed.
Okay.
Because what gets me excited actually is like what I'm doing privately.
Right.
What I'm doing with, friends who, because at the end of the day, I'm not alone. I'm not unique. The only thing that makes me unique is probably the way I look,
Right.
but the people I grew up with.
I mean, the experience is pretty crazy. Yeah.
Yeah. And then, like, my story combined makes me unique.
Yeah.
But as far as like my upbringing is not unique. There's a lot of us out there.
Yeah.
And in the hood, in the ghetto, it's always tough it out. Stop being a bitch.
Mm-hmm.
Go fuck this up. Go do this. Go do it. There's very little people who care.
Right.
So it's very like, you're already hurting. Go fuck it up. Go break the window. Go do that.
Like surviving.
Right. So like, there's at least, and I was doing this before I was even trying to do this.
Yeah.
Because there's at least like 8 to 11 little kids from my neighborhood who I've single-handedly kept them out of gangs.
Yeah.
By just giving them my backyard to hang out in. Then I remember I was like, I'm going to go to Determined, which obviously, gang neighborhood. And then we can't go there because I was like, what? Let's go. And they squashed it right away. Because I watched these kids grow up from playing. Because they were, me and my son are only like 18 years apart or 17 years apart.
Okay.
So these kids are like 9 years older than my son, but like, younger than me.
Right.
So they went from playing with my son outside to like being young men already. Right. One of them named their sons after my son.
Oh, wow.
So that's the kind of impact I've had on them,
Yeah.
But I also, like, I remember one of them got in a fight out of school.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, now you're not a bitch.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
You've already proved it to everyone else. You've already proved it to yourself.
Right.
Don't go and keep looking for fights.
Yeah.
Because sooner or later, it's going to go bad.
Yeah.
Don't be like me. Because I was the type, like, it's okay, like, let's say me and you had a problem.
Right.
And I fought you and I won.
Right.
Like, everybody's seen it.
Yeah.
Should be the end of it.
Yeah.
But instead, I know he said something too, so I'm going to fight your ass next.
Yeah.
And I got my ass whipped like that one time too, for sure.
It
was like 6th grade. It was 6th grade, and the dude was like, you ain't so tough.
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah. And remember, I'm really small.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, he's like, you ain't so tough, blah, 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 blah. And I don't think he expected me to, like, this is our 6th grade camp. Expecting me to be like, what's up? Like, right then and there.
Right.
So, I kind of punked him, quote unquote, right? And then all week long, I'm like, stop being a bitch. How you gonna call me out? Blah, 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 blah. Long story short, he
showed,
to this day, it was an
bitch.
even fight, right? But like towards the end, when we both didn't know how to fight. So we're like throwing punches, wrestling, and I was at the Boys and Girls Club. And he throws a punch, and I missed. I made him miss, and then I rushed, but I was already coming with the next one.
Oh,
so I ran right into it. And to this day, it's the worst black guy. So it taught me a lesson, but as far as like, just go learn to fight.
Yeah, yeah.
But as far as like proving shit to everyone, like it comes from like the way like the passive aggressive nature of my family.
Okay.
Of like my dad was very, he was a bitch in the streets, but he was a tough guy at home, and it fucked me up about it. And I was in the streets early, so I knew early.
Yeah.
I'm like running like bags of chips.
Right.
From this side of the neighborhood over. I'm already doing little shit. I'm already seeing like shooting, stabbings and shit early.
Yeah.
And it just excited me. So like where everybody would fold and panic, like the white boy would just be like,
You found like
it's like a
peace.
video game to me.
You found like peace in that chaos.
In a sense. And also too,
Like
all I knew was chaos. My grandfather's schizophrenic. My mom and dad are fucking back and forth. Like my dad's on meth, fucking taking all. It was crank back in that day,
okay.
taking all of our shit. So I, now that I'm older and I understand a little bit more, I feel like I was more passive aggressively suicidal than anything. Like, but it was also
like you were just like testing.
Yeah,
like,
how
testing
far can this go before something
Yeah.
bad happens?
Damn. Like subconsciously,
walking in enemies' neighborhoods at midnight, 1 a.m., and then you get shot at 16.
Yeah.
And then my friends started getting. I think like in 1 month, I had like 3 friends get shot. One died. One got shot 11 times. We were teenagers. That was my first friend to get
11 times.
Yeah, I went there on Beechwood on Lobo.
Damn.
And then another one got shot 3 times in the chest. So like a lot of this shit was happening at an early age.
Right.
So it's like,
and then obviously at that age, you didn't really know how to like.
No, I have nobody to educate me.
Yeah.
So it's all like we're figuring shit out in the moment. So that's why I like with these kids, like I know where it's gonna go.
Yeah.
And because those kids are in my neighborhood and they watch me grow, they, a lot of people who probably are from the streets, they wouldn't look at me and necessarily take my advice, but because they've seen me and they knew me and they knew what my rep, all that shit. Like I don't glorify it. So that's why I like cut myself off and like,
Okay.
I don't need to say what I've done or what I haven't, whatever.
Yeah.
They know.
Right.
And so when I say something, they really respect it. And I don't have an ego to the point. To me, if I could take the ego out of some of these men, that's my real mission.
Okay.
I'm not the one you'll call when you want to party. I'm not going to go.
Yeah.
Like, call me when you need, like, absolutely at my lowest. The only problem is, like, I'm really real, and I've been so affected by narcissism and drug addicts, and I don't play that shit. So when I realize it's a repeated cycle, like, I don't care about your drug problem. I'm not a fucking rehab.
Yeah.
Like, and I know it sounds fucked up. And obviously, different friends have different relationships. They have different,
Right.
But I'm not a fucking rehab. So as soon as, like, I feel like you're purposely just fucking with yourself and you're self-sabotaging yourself, like,
yeah.
And there's no... Because there was a dude who, like... And like I said, I won't say his name, but here's one of the... It's kind of really the only negative person I've had, because I'd say there's about 15 to 20 people.
Okay.
So I originally put myself out there.
Right.
And then my dad and my uncle got all butthurt, but they're a lot of the causes of the bullshit. So of course, they want me to take responsibility for them being drug addicts and me. They said any decision you make after 10 or 11,
it's on you. Like no, that's upbringing.
I won't even have that conversation with them. Like if you're not intelligent enough to have that, like I could just have the conversation with the wall.
Yeah.
And we'll get. So anyways, he's like, you're supposed to get a group together. I was like, how do you, because they thought that I was putting myself out there for sympathy. Well, I'm like,
okay,
you guys are fucking retarded.
Yeah.
Like, I could get sympathy if I wanted to. It's not hard.
Yeah.
Right? But what I'm doing is I'm biting the bullet and I'm putting myself and my vulnerability out there so people who may have nobody to speak to
be
like, oh shit. So a lot of times when people reach out to me,
I
cut them off and I give them my story. Because it's so fucking hard to listen to someone who doesn't really relate to you. Like I had counselors growing up that looked like me.
Yeah.
But they didn't have the same problems I had.
Yeah.
What do you mean don't go outside and just get my ass whooped in the house? Because I'm tired of my Christmas presents going. I'm tired of not having hot water. I'm tired of people coming and breaking our windows because my dad owes them money.
Yeah.
So I'd rather go outside and deal with that bullshit.
Yeah.
So I'm psychologically gifted. I love this shit.
Yeah.
You can't break me. You could torture me. You cannot break me. Because my dad, once I realized at an early age that my dad wanted me to fear him, I didn't give him that luxury. You see what I'm saying? So like, I've been around master manipulators. So I know all the ways. So so I know when someone is just being like, poor me. And when someone who really wants to
change
and who's really struggling with it and may have some issues that they may not be aware of. For example, I have one friend, he just got another DUI.
Okay.
Blah, 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 blah. And he's a little younger than me, so from the same neighborhood, but he's, younger, different crowds, right?
Right.
My circle from that neighborhood is literally all in prison, or just,
yeah.
Like it's not even like, oh, some are in there, like, no, they're in prison. FBI came and took them.
God damn.
So, But with him, I feel like he's really struggling with a lot of like regret from the past type
Okay.
shit.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's gonna eat at you in a different way.
It's hard to move forward.
And it's something I can relate to,
Hmm.
right? You know, as to where the other guy was just like, oh, I'm spending all my money on weed. I mean, on alcohol and cocaine, and then I want everybody to feel bad for me when I don't have no money and I'm hungry.
Mm.
And when it became
Reoccurring.
a routine,
Hmm.
you know what I mean? Like, oh, whoops, the scheduled time. I was like, I'm not. I just had to be. That's why. So one of my psychiatrists, they want me to like go and get my,
Yeah.
a diploma,
So you
educate
can like
myself.
talk about it.
But I'm like, I can't do that because I'm so real. As soon as I realize you're fucking, like you're just, oh, you're one of them. Like,
Right.
we're not gonna get nowhere. Get the fuck
Okay.
out. And then he's gonna murder everyone in the office, and it's
God
gonna be my
damn.
fault. You know what I'm saying? But I don't. I even told my girl, and I told my doctors, I like, I'll do it, but I'm not. I'll do it for like validation,
Hmm.
but I have no interest on being like professional.
All right. So I mean, when it comes to those type of setbacks, what got you through to move forward? Because you mentioned how sometimes it's hard to leave the past, right? To like not get stuck there. What helps you move
As
forward?
cliche as it sounds, I'm my son's only parent, and I've been his only parent since he's an infant, since he was a month old, 2 months old, right?
Yeah.
I have no fucking choice.
Yeah.
And if I got through like being a kid, poor kid in the ghetto, like trying to transition from being, and like I said, we weren't hustlers. We were doing violent stuff.
Yeah.
So the energy you put out in the world, you get back.
Yeah.
So having to like figure out how to be like,
Damn.
I can't walk to the store and like it might crack off. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
not might, like it would. Like
Yeah.
it is what it is, right?
Right.
And then, but also thinking twice with my son and like even my felonies, like even like anything I got caught for,
Right.
the risk was because the reward was worth it.
Yeah.
Right? I would have caught a million felonies.
Yeah. Yeah. The
Or I
reward
would've
was
kept
high.
violating probation or parole, right?
Yeah. 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 There was high reward.
Right. And the reward was there. We just kind of stayed too long.
Right. Right. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And but it's really like, as cliche as it sounds, I have no fucking choice.
Hmm.
My son's biological mom ain't right. Like she's like super manipulative, very narcissistic. It's all like she wants everybody to feel bad for her. Like I'm sorry that I was a shitty mom,
Right.
but like it's always her fault.
Okay.
For example, she came back and I allowed my son. I've never badmouthed her until my son got to a certain age because he'll resent me later on.
Yeah. Yeah. You wanted him to find out.
He'll figure it out.
Right.
You're a
Yeah.
smart kid. She'll do it. And she left to Washington. So when I got caught in North Dakota for selling weed, right?
North Dakota.
Right, yeah. But we were making like, it was crazy. Like, so
Okay.
much money.
Okay. Okay.
So much money I didn't want to leave yet.
Right.
Right?
Uh-huh.
And I'm talking about like hand over fist. Like,
Okay.
Like-
All right. We don't gotta get too much
I got
into it.
caught, so.
Okay. Oh. Okay.
But no,
okay.
man.
Okay. Oh,
It
yeah.
actually, it fits into the story.
Oh. Okay.
The reason-
Okay.
yeah, so
I was like, I don't want you to get caught up or anything.
No,
but-
no, no. We got
Okay.
caught. We got
Okay.
caught.
Okay.
And we stayed too long.
Right.
But
Uh-huh.
she used that to her advantage, and she lied to the courts and said that, oh, my son's father got arrested out of state, and I don't know where he's at,
Oh. Okay.
which is not true. He's with his family,
Right.
right? And not only did she try to just whatever, she tried to leave state with him, take custody from me and leave state.
Damn.
I'm in jail. So then I get bailed out. My second baby mama,
Oh.
her aunt's a lawyer, so she bailed me out, whatever, and yada, yada, yada.
Damn, shout out to her.
Yeah, it was a different kind of lawyer, so she kind of just gave me advice more than actually like lawyered for me.
Oh. Okay.
Because like in child custody shit, it's not really the same.
Gotcha.
So anyways, we're on this phone call. I'm out of state on bail,
Right.
and they're being super condescending to me. Like,
Mm.
oh, so what would you like, father? Like you're not in the position to really have a choice.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, at that point I knew that, so I was like, I didn't just say like I want my son, blah blah. I was like, well, I've been his only parent. She's never so much as bought diapers for him, so I don't want him leaving California. And then
Yeah.
you just hear the whole, oh, really?
Damn. You just shift. Yeah.
And then immediately she's like, well, can I get visitation? Can you go out of state? Blah, 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 blah. Immediately. Anyways, I still didn't talk shit. And like, that's next level. Like, it took a lot of like, because I'm a crash out. Like, I'm retarded. Like,
A lot of patience.
yeah.
You had to bite your tongue.
If I was a teenager in this day and age, I would have got life 100%. Or like a lot of years. Not necessarily. I never murdered no one, so that's a stretch. But like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. You wouldn't be here. You wouldn't be here right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it took a lot of like think about him. So a lot of that had to do with, and then, anyways, last year,
Okay.
she's been back for 3 years. He's starting to build a relationship with her.
Okay.
And his stepdad from that side was really good. That's that's the real paranormal. That's my baby mama.
Okay.
I don't even talk to her. I would talk to him.
Yeah.
Right? And I can't deal with retards. I just can't.
Right.
And then my son's his mood changed. All of a sudden he's not going on weekends. So I'm like, what's up? And he's like, well, Fatima's leaving again. God, I didn't mean saying that. Fuck that bitch. Whatever. Fatima.
Yeah. Oh God.
Yeah. But Rodriguez.
Oh.
She
That's the last.
and like his whole demeanor changed. This is around his graduation time.
Oh, okay.
So that's when I really started telling him the truth. And then I was like, this is why, because he didn't want her after graduation, but he was feeling bad. So then I had to explain to him why, because he's crashing out on me. And he's not that type.
Yeah.
He's very disciplined. He's
that behavior wasn't common.
No, like if he has an issue, let's just speak about it. Let's talk, like, whatever.
Yeah.
And
you created that space. So
right, and it was like, this can't be directed at me.
Yeah.
Like, and I know something's up.
Putting the dots
psychologically, you're a whole different person.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And then, so anyways, like, you can't go. She was like, oh, I'm trying to get to go to graduation. And I'm like, look, what I'm worried about is you going like, this is your day. It's your time.
Yeah.
And I told her that. I was like, I'll be the bad guy. You're not welcome, blah, blah. She's like, well, how do you not invite John and, his sister? I was like, no, they're invited. Like, you're not invited.
Yeah.
Right? So, like, and the thing is, that's the person my son goes to if I fuck up, if I don't do anything.
Yeah.
And also, like, I'm building this platform so they could have it.
Yeah.
When they turn, because he's going to be a fighter. He's going to,
right.
Like, he's.
That's what's up, bro. That's
so, like, I'm learning all this stuff. So, like, if they want to have a platform
that push on. Yeah.
I can answer these questions.
They don't have to go through that.
Big inspiration, FGTV. Well, that guy, he's raised my first son to my youngest kids,
Yeah.
So really, like, that's how I manage it all. And I know it's a long story, but that's really, that type of shit, like, is always what I face. As soon as I slip up, I have someone trying to take my world.
Damn. Damn, bro. Well, I think I saw on your profile about like suicide prevention, right? And I think with obviously everything with your upbringing and everything that you had to face, and then now with this platform that you're growing, it seems like you understand a lot of different perspectives when some probably don't really see like what's happening, right? So with everything that you have going on, with your platform and your videos, and then obviously like with you as a person, what does the future hold for like Reckless like media? Is that becoming solely like a platform for people who are becoming like, because there's a lot of absence, right? There's a lot of absence with people who don't understand their emotions, men who struggle to talk about their emotions, and men who struggle to become vulnerable. And then like today you're here like being vulnerable, you're being honest, you're not holding back. And that's something that's hard to do, especially like, with men, having a conversation like that. So like, is this something that you're doing like to like help that, or you're like you mentioned earlier, you're doing that like away from the media, like away from
the Reckless media part is just because I do interviews and I deal with real situations. Like I'm like Merced Streets, that's his lane.
Yeah.
So like there's certain things, like if you notice, like the ones that I partake in are like ones who are close to me, like a stabbing in Atwater. I'm from Atwater, I got stabbed.
Yeah.
Fucking up the upper class getting away with bullshit that we wouldn't be able to get away with at the school.
Yeah.
So as far as the media goes, it's just because like my interview part.
Mm-hmm.
So with the suicide prevention and all that, so I'm just gonna keep it real. Like this is what I'd rather be doing.
Yeah.
I'm just naturally funny. That's how you hide behind the tears of a clown, right?
Yeah.
So it's like but it's a lot easier when you're asking me questions, and then answering, than it is for me just talking to a camera.
Right.
Because I don't take myself too seriously.
Yeah.
So it's like very awkward for me. So I'm still learning. Like I have a lot of
I had to like zone in.
Right. I have a lot of videos on my phone that I haven't put out. But I'd rather be doing this.
Yeah.
So obviously Kevin Gates is.
Yeah.
And he's actually, I gave him his credit and he actually responded back about this too, which is cool.
Yeah.
But when he first came out, he's not very like, he doesn't have a strong personality. He's not very charismatic. He is, but like not probably in his own circle, right?
Right. Yeah, we haven't seen that side of him.
Right. So he was very awkward in interviews. So you know what he started doing? He started talking about, I'm gonna eat a booty hole. Like I was having
Yeah.
sex with my cousin and we found out later and we were already blah blah. He was saying all
Wait, that was real?
yeah, right.
Oh shit.
He said he found out at a
Reunion and shit.
family reunion, and he's like, we were already doing it, and so fuck it, we were already this far, right? But like it was
Wait, he's the one that talked about the battery, right? Where he put his hand on the battery.
right.
Okay, yeah.
But here's the thing: his music speaks for itself.
Right.
You know, a lot of these artists and shit like that. You know, they can say Nelly, but the kind of gangster like melody, whatever. Like Kevin Gates mastered that shit.
Yeah.
Like the singing, he was doing that shit real early. And like I said, Nelly, but that's different.
Right.
That's like commercial shit.
Yeah.
But anyways, he knew his music and his real passion spoke for itself. He just had to get people over there. And that's how I found out about it. He said some wild shit on Breakfast Club.
Yeah.
And I was like, let me hear his music. And I was like, damn, it hit home and helped me kind of find myself as a man, you know?
Okay.
So I use my comedy for that.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to build up a big ass platform.
Right.
And then it's going to do a lot of good. And the thing about it is like, I've just look at the couple of things I've shown you.
Yeah.
Privately. Like, so just imagine like the real shit that I can't really show you because I care about my, you know.
Right.
Right. I'm one of those people like, I was everybody's friend, but I had very little friends.
Yeah.
I just, you know.
Yeah, the connections.
Yeah. And it's just like, I treat people with respect so I can go in any group, you know.
I feel that. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to treat people how they treat me. I'm just cool with either way it goes.
Yeah.
Like, I love chaos. Like, I love, like.
You can fit.
Yeah, my biggest, like, my biggest,
anywhere.
like, dream is, like, someone, like, making legal, I can just pop them in front of everybody. Like,
What?
Yeah, like, not in California,
Purge?
though.
Like the purge side?
It's just, no, not like the purge, like, someone who's just a piece of shit,
Oh, okay.
and they're just trying to attack a random family,
Yeah.
like us,
Right. Okay.
like, and then you could just, you know,
Yeah.
yeah, I wouldn't lose sleep. Like, when I got stabbed, I really equated that to karma from shit that I did as a kid.
Damn.
There's a reason for everything.
Yeah, no.
But as far as, like, what my goal is, it's really to, like, I want to help the ghetto. I want to help the kids who don't look like me. But I come from such a real background that if you've really been in that, you'll know what it feels like. Yeah. And you cannot explain it properly unless you've really been in it.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
I know 100% when someone's faking it.
Damn. So what is, you know, we mentioned the book.
So comedy's just for attention.
Comedy is going to get you there.
Right.
You're using that as like the transport.
Even what's his face? Fucking Charleston White. He does that. He says some crazy shit online.
Yeah.
And it's just all to bring attention to his foundations and all that shit.
You're thinking like long run, which is good. Yeah.
Which I never really did before.
No, honestly, bro, like everything that you've been doing, like, I guess like within a year, I'm just going to use like a year frame.
Well, that's really what it's been.
It's like in that year, you managed to understand like the algorithm for Facebook, Instagram. You understood hooks. Because honestly, bro, you know, one thing that I struggle with, unrelatable with everything that we talked about. One thing that I struggle with is that obviously I'm a videographer, photographer. Like I do all this stuff, but I tend to overthink like, how am I going to caption this? Or what's the visual hook going to be? And then like when I see like when when we talk about like things that you do, I think your strong point is that you know how to highlight that. You know how to grab somebody's attention. And whether that's like, and then obviously, you know what you do, bro? You make people feel something. And that's art on its own. That's art, like in a very, very minimal sense. Art is when people feel something about it. So you constantly do that with each video. And so anyway, what I'm getting to is like, when it comes to that, even though people might think it's like simple, there was a lot of like, you know, thinking to get there.
Yeah, it's hard.
You have to like shift it because you got to turn off a lot of things in your brain, bro.
Mm-hmm. It's like, hard. Yeah, it's not easy.
So give us some free game, bro. Like, how do we get to that? But without being too, because like reckless, like I'm gonna say like your crash out's like up here, right? So like obviously I can't follow suit. I can't follow like me and you are completely different when it comes to that. So like give some tips on what do you think like when it comes to creating those hooks or to create that sort of like engaging.
Trust yourself. Because sometimes when you're overthinking, you're trying to find the most relatable hashtag or the most whatever. But what I've realized, like that first one you pop up, probably is the most relatable because that's your first thought. And on average, most humans kind of have similar thoughts. And like, I'm just very secure in myself as well too. So it's like, I can laugh at myself. If I fuck up, I'll just move over it. Yeah. But also too, A lot of people, they'll post something and they'll put like excuse me,
Right, you're good.
they'll put like the wrong caption and then they'll delete the video and never come back to it.
Yeah,
No, you posted that video for a reason.
yeah,
You obviously, there's something there.
yeah, yeah,
Change the caption. Maybe post at a different time. Maybe it wasn't the caption at all.
yeah.
That's really what I did. So like when people ask for my help or like, friends, like it sounds very redundant. It sounds just like, how does that
right.
work?
Yeah, yeah,
But it's because I fucking spent all the time because I am disabled. So like I have a lot of time.
yeah.
Right. So it's like, and when my friend died, I was really like, cause he was really like the 13th, 14th friend that's died. Right. But it's like, that was my best friend. Not only that, that was my mental health partner. We could relate in our childhood. Like,
Yeah.
like watch.
There was a bond.
Right. So, I won't be. That's not the right moment. But trust yourself. Also, too, like, you know what works.
Mm-hmm.
Don't be so egotistical to where like, oh, I'm gonna do it my way.
Right.
Like, no, it's okay to copy someone.
Yeah, yeah.
Like maybe like you could just put your own flavor on it. It's not a joke. You can't steal jokes.
Yeah.
But if this guy posts something and it works, and you're like, well, I might be able to do it this way.
Yeah, yeah.
Cause like, I still haven't fully got there yet. Cause like, I want to start like reacting to videos and doing shit like that. But I'm like, I just deleted a lot.
Yeah.
Right. But you have to trust yourself, and you have to study.
Mm-hmm.
Study your analytics. It's like if you're just posting randomly at random times, like just when you make the video, that's when it's done. Boom, post it.
Yeah.
You're never really gonna learn too much.
Mm.
Post the same video at like different times of the day if it doesn't work out.
Yeah.
And also do it on different platforms because all these algorithms are fucking different.
Yeah.
Like like
YouTube Shorts, and then obviously
like
Facebook.
There's so many videos that went viral on Instagram that do nothing on Facebook. But then there's the video that went viral on Facebook does nothing on Instagram.
Yeah.
And it's just about my daughters be like, Dad, are you Mexican? I'm like, no.
Right.
But what are you? Like, I'm just fucking white. I don't know.
Yeah.
Right? And then that fucking hit like 500,000 on Facebook.
On Facebook. It's a different audience, bro.
But really just trust yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Like, be you.
Yeah.
Unless it's an actual character,
right,
you're not going to get nowhere being someone else.
Yeah. 100%.
And when you trust yourself, and like I said, that first thought, that's the one.
That's the one you should go with?
That's the one.
Okay.
And I just say that just because of pure analytics.
Trial and error.
Right. Like, you see there was much thought, and like my video that hit 9.4 million, what happened was they misspelled your.
Yeah.
A simple, just ghetto shit, right?
Yeah, and then people just comment on it.
But it said, Ivan, you're a chomo, stop hiding or some shit, right? But because they spelled shit wrong, I was like, when these 5th graders catch Ivan, he's done for. And that's what. Because I posted that video before and it did nothing.
Yeah.
And then I posted that one, and that's at 9.4 million.
Damn.
Bro. Right. I'm still learning too to caption it like properly because I'm not a dirtbag, so I don't want to clickbait.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Right.
Okay. Yeah. So aside from obviously doing numbers on IG and your platforms, can you talk a little bit about what the book that you're writing is going to be about and when? I mean, I know it's hard to give a date on when it'll come out, but like, talk about like, I guess like the process and what are we gonna what's in the book.
All right, so the day I would like to finish it like this year.
Okay,
but it's like
that's the goal.
Yeah, so when I put out the first like trailer that I was using, like it got so much feedback right away that it was overwhelming. So, and I don't want to make a decision like I would have felt bad signing for 60,000 when I got $1 million book.
Right.
Right. Like, and I made mistakes like that for fighting, anyways. So, and also too, I don't want it to be just like negative, because even though a lot of my home life was negative, I found the
positive.
Right. So it's hard to find the balance between like telling the true story, but also like understanding my mindset then.
Okay.
Because like in the moment you're not so fucked up. It's not until you're a teenager when you're like, damn. When you start going around more families. Who are not, because I have so many cousins and so many that were like, I hung out with my family a lot, and then you go and you're like, damn, like, that's just kind of fucked up.
Kind of shapes.
Right, and you go to families' houses that you think are fucked up.
Yeah.
Right, they look like they might be a little bit more bummier than you, whatever. And you think they're fucked up.
Yeah.
And you're like, damn, I kind of wish I had, like, you know, that type shit.
Yeah.
Um, so, because one thing what I would really like for this book to do is understand that these kids aren't alone, and future is a real word. Like, it's not a rapper. Like, like, you could really have a future.
Yeah.
But a lot of these families, and especially men, when it comes to like failure and shit, it's a weird psychological thing where they want to keep their kid underneath them. They never want their kids to be better than
They
them.
don't want them to do, yeah.
And it's super weird. And they did it, and like, it happened to me, and it fucked me up. I was a straight A student, all-star athlete to the point where I'm in newspapers. I'm getting like I had UCLA talking to me at 13,
Yeah.
and it's because my backup got a Division I scholarship.
Yeah.
So
Damn.
put that in perspective, right?
Right.
But I don't blame nobody because I threw my arm out. I threw my arm out when I was 16 because I'd fuck around a lot. I'd be throwing wiffle balls.
Yeah.
But I had a lot of people like, you're too short. You're not going to do this shit.
Mm.
And they start putting doubts in your head.
Yeah.
And then they're like, you're not that good. Like, you're blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, it shapes
these,
you. Yeah.
Yeah,
It shapes
these are
what you think.
people, or like, I always want to do drama class.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, you're gay. What the fuck? Blah,
Yeah.
blah, blah.
Yeah.
So, like, literally my whole, like, once I got to a certain age, my whole childhood was, like, directed by other people who's failed at their shit. Who had all the talent in the world and failed.
Damn.
Like, you know who Tony is? The R&B group?
Sounds familiar.
It's my anniversary.
Tony. Wait, didn't one of the guys pass away?
I think so. I'm not sure. But you know, I saw Anniversary.
Yeah. Okay.
So my uncle was actually, like, managed by them.
Oh, wow.
So he got a record deal, but they didn't want his group, so he didn't take it.
Mm.
And because he was the white boy, somebody else offered his group a record deal without him, and they took it, whatever. But him, like, he was, like, very passive aggressive, you know.
Afterwards?
And there was no, like, no, just in general, like,
Oh, okay.
no matter, I could be up here,
Yeah.
but they're always going to knock me down.
Mm.
And it wasn't until after getting stabbed, having, you know, psychologists and having real appointments and shit like that, where I started really understanding a lot of shit.
Right.
Right. So it's like, and then I've always collected the puzzle pieces, but I just didn't have the puzzle together. So when my education started catching up,
Yeah.
I was able to put the puzzles together, you know. So I distanced myself from a lot of people, you know, or like, you know, even like people like, where they would like shit on my dream, and then like I'd bring my friends over, and like, I'll fund your whole career, like I'll pay for you to train, like, bitch, I'm related to you, right? Like, you know,
because they believe in you. There's people out there that,
but they wouldn't say that shit to other people,
Mm.
but be like in my corner and shit like that, right?
Yeah.
So it was really like getting, you know, just kind of mind fucked by your family and all that, and I want to show how bad it would. Most people in my position are doing drugs, right?
Mm-hmm.
At the very least, right? And there is light at the end of the tunnel. The problem is we don't really. A lot of my peers, they die or they're dead while alive before we even make it to the age where you can actually comprehend.
Yeah.
So, like, one of my favorite things I wrote, if you don't mind me reading it.
Oh, no. Cool.
And a lot of this shit, because of the way I look, I don't put out there.
Okay.
Because of Instagram's fucking retarded, right? But, like, a lot of my shit is street lessons, right? So, like, you know, you've read this before, but the best lessons are learned from the hardest lives. If you're lucky to live long enough while free from incarceration or drugs to complete the puzzle and fully comprehended all the lessons life taught you, a necessary evil. If you're strong, if you're lucky, more importantly, if you're not broken yet. Unfortunately, many kids are broken before they know they had another option.
Damn.
So because I don't,
Damn.
you know, I do have a criminal background, you know, with guns and like shit like that. Like, not like, fortunately for me, nothing bad.
Okay.
I was a God-fearing drug dealer. But,
Right. Yeah.
So, but I know, so what I want to do is when I put shit out like that,
Yeah.
I'm throwing the fishing pole out there.
Yeah.
The ones who need help, they'll hit me up.
Damn.
The ones, you know, so you'd be surprised, I got gang members, I got fucking regular people, I got fucking construction workers, I got close friends, I got strangers.
Yeah.
I have a lot of supporters
That can relate.
People that I'm helping because I said a certain thing
Mm-hmm.
and something hit them.
Yeah.
So now they have someone to talk to. Not only someone to talk to, but someone who's actually educated enough in, you know, psychology to where I could explain it to them. So what I accidentally learned how to do, and which this book is going to be about, is I've learned how to explain ghetto shit to white people and rich people in a way that they would fully understand it.
Okay.
But I've also learned how to explain white people shit to the hood. So I grew up around Paisos. Like, a lot of my friends are barely learning English.
Yeah.
Like, one of my classes, like, third grade was the class teaching English. Like, of course I got an A in this fucking class. So It's like, I really learned how to explain shit to all walks of life.
Yeah.
Because I've been around all walks of life. Because I never had a place.
Yeah.
I wasn't fully a gangster.
Right.
I just lived in that neighborhood.
Yeah.
I wasn't fully a accepted member of my dad's side of the family. They just kind of hated on me. And they passive aggressive, like, oh, I love you, and I do believe they love me, blah blah blah. But it's very passive aggressive,
Yeah.
manipulative behavior.
Yeah.
Right.
It's what they knew.
Right. So, forgot I was going with that. But so
yeah, you relate to all walks. You've been
right,
through different walks of life.
So I would go, and also too, like I'm not shy.
Mm-hmm.
If I want to hang out with that group, let's go see what that's about.
Yeah,
not for me. Let's go see what that's about.
Yeah.
Where I've always and how to learn to accept it through psychology. Also, just being like secure with yourself.
Yeah, and that's hard to do.
I'm comfortable around the crazies
Mm-hmm.
because my neighbors were parolees, former junkies, prostitutes, crackheads. Like, there's one lady should pretend, hey boys, you got him on the store. Like, and her nephew's actually fighting for his life. He got hit by a driver who fell asleep. You want to hear something? On Santa Fe, driver fell asleep, hit a car. He died. It was a kid from my neighborhood that I grew up. It was the Lotte man from like Rivera area.
Oh.
Youngster. The person he hit is even a longer friend, and he's fighting for his life and shit. So like I grew up around my grandfather's schizophrenic. My mom, now that I know about bipolar disorder, my mom is 100% bipolar. That's but
you're understanding like your lineage,
right? So but I'm 34 now. But not only that, I almost died.
Yeah.
And the reason suicide is so important to me is because a lot of these people, depending on how they do it, right, they don't really have a chance to like change their mind.
Yeah. Yeah.
I always thought I didn't give a fuck if I lived or died.
Right.
Until you're fighting for your life.
Yeah.
But because when I got hit, I had a lot of time to think before I lost consciousness. It was 16 minutes before 15 minutes, 16 minutes. If you see, I stayed very calm. But that's me being around people who've been stabbed. So really the book is like, that's why I call it, the book's going to be named Fight or Die.
Okay. Well,
because don't stop fighting in every way, shape, or form. Like don't, just because your fucking uncle's a fuck up, your dad's a fuck up, your mom, she's loyal to the wrong person. Because a lot of us have good moms who are loyal. I was never put first, though. Yeah. My dad was always put first type shit.
Okay.
And he was my biggest threat.
Yeah.
There's a point where like my mom probably rather him, not on purpose.
Right. Yeah.
But
it's a different time.
She always said, I don't want to kick him out because he'll get killed out there. He might kill me. Like, I'm going to school with handprints, bruised. Like,
damn.
You know what I'm saying? So it was like different. Like, I remember her coming home and being like, hey, did anybody touch you? Because the fact is, the people you see at Skid Row, San Francisco, they could be in my house at any moment, my apartment at any moment. You just come home and there just be a shirtless Asian dude on your couch.
Damn.
Like, who the fuck are you?
Damn.
Like, so it's like I was always on toe. Like, the last time I got to really remember like being a kid, like a true child, was like second grade, third grade, second grade probably. Second grade, we got jumped into a gang, like a made up gang. Right. But like the next month, I sang NSYNC at a talent show.
Damn, bro.
So and like I'm the definition like a product to environment, but understand like I understand the environment.
I think you're a testimony to that name, the fighter. What was the fighter there?
Die. That's always been my saying. Like, fight or die, fuck it.
Yeah, man, because everything that's been thrown at you, you found a way to get back from it.
Yeah, and
get up from it.
I found something psychologically to hang on to.
Yeah.
Like with my dad, like I could have broken me, but I knew he wanted me to fear him because he's like a fox. Yeah. He's a very good talker, so he would steal something from you and convince you didn't do it, but he'd always steal from like the wrong people.
Yeah.
So, it's really, like I said, it's really just the point of the book is just keep fighting. It's gonna be worth it. You just have to get there.
Yeah.
But also too, like these kids aren't alone. A lot of these kids, they are alone though, but like they're not alone in the way they feel. But there's just not a lot of men who fucking will say it.
Yeah, who understand.
Like I had like my older brother unfollow me because of the route I'm going on social media. I've had a lot of that shit. But I kind of was already distancing myself. Right. From that type shit. Just because it was a negative energy and I didn't really understand it. So it's like, we're cool in real life. That's what's important. Yeah. I may not necessarily go over there or we may not have a relationship.
Right.
But we didn't grow up in the same house anyway. Yeah. So we grew up very differently.
Yeah. There's different.
So it's like, but I know what I'm doing is the right move. Yeah. And the book, it just has to be the perfect storm of the way I want to explain it.
It's gonna take some time for sure.
Yeah, and I got lucky though. I had my son.
Yeah.
To where like that kept me.
Grounded.
A lot of men they don't have to. They're not the mom. So there's still a lot of. There's a lot of time for fucking around. There's a lot of time to be with the homies.
Yeah.
But I'm his mom.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So it's like.
Damn.
I can't go out. I have my son. I'll never forget my boy. He's in prison. He's been in prison since my son's 15 now. He's been in prison since my son's like 1 or 2.
Yeah.
It was my neighbor, one of my best friends. And he stole a car. It was like, hey, let's like,
right.
I got a car. Let's go to, whatever, right? Let's go do. And I was I'm literally actively trying to put my son to sleep. And I'm like, bro, what? You really gonna ask me that right now? And this is a real like gangster is all he knows.
Yeah.
He's been in prison the last 14 years. He's still a fucking gangster.
Yeah.
He's still he actually was supposed to be out after 8 years, but he kept volunteering for shit. So he kept getting more, time added on. And he's like, Spencer, bro, Spencer. Like, I didn't even mean, like,
Yeah.
When he respected it, I knew I was going the right move.
Yeah.
And then he ended up getting to Beachwood and the car broke down. He had to walk all the way back to Atwater.
Fuck, bro.
So he didn't do nothing either.
Yeah.
Right?
All right. So with obviously all these setbacks, comebacks, and then now that you kind of have like a better understanding with what you want to do, right? What?
The book's about finding yourself because that's really the fucking key to everything. Anyways.
Perfect. But like with all the setbacks, comebacks, everything that you've been going through, everything that you've experienced in life, what's some advice that you would give to your younger self and maybe somebody who's in like similar shoes that you're in?
Let it go. Let it go. It's in your head. And what I mean by that, there's so many people that like get disrespected or some shit.
Mm-hmm.
And then they go home and it just eats at them. And it's the slightest of disrespect though.
Yeah.
Like ego, like I said, that ego was my downfall. It's a lot of downfall. Like, you don't go, if your girl's cheating on you, you don't fight the guy.
Yeah.
Unless it's your friend. Unless it's your friend or your brother, and that's principle.
Yeah,
that's a different subject.
You got to stand on it.
But last thing you want is your girl to get fucked by some guy and he whoops your ass.
Yeah. Oh, fuck. Yeah, that'd be all
just
bad,
let it
bro.
go, right?
Yeah.
But the thing about it is
and he whoops your ass.
So a lot of people in the ghetto, they don't own nothing but their ego and their pride. So it's really hard to ignore the one thing that you have.
Right.
Right. And it's okay to be regular. It's not like you got these kids. The worst part is in real gangs, they get laced up. They're actually being taught. It may not be like what you think is proper, but there is lessons to be learned and hierarchy. These kids are 18 years old, quit playing football, and now they're gangbanging. They just got a job. They're going to buy a gun. Mm-hmm. Now they're rapping, right? So you got a lot of these kids who are just, and it's all ego. Mm-hmm. It's like, it'll be like, this guy can't rap. And I swear to God, I'll start a fucking rap war. Yeah. And rap wars are not what they used to be.
Right.
Like, there was one Biggie and Tupac at that time.
Yeah.
Now it's like every story ends that way. Yeah. So ego, like, I wish I would have let the ego go a lot. Because I would have been able to be this a lot sooner.
I like that.
To where, because I was scared to put myself out there and be like, because like I said, I know what I look like.
Yeah.
So my story doesn't necessarily
connect
with the way I look.
Right, yeah.
But when you hear, that's why I said, like, now I'm used to the fact, what I'll do is I'll post something, I'll put it on TikTok for a little while. Because a lot of my followers, I don't know.
Right.
So I'm just like, my feelers and how I get comfortable with putting that out there, right? Because I come from an era like, you don't record a fight. Mm-hmm. You don't record your homies arguing. You don't. Yeah. So it's hard to put a lot of that type of shit.
Put it out there.
There. So I'm getting used to it. But I would have enjoyed life a lot more if I would have just let my ego go.
Yeah.
I would have joined drama class. Like, fuck you.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Stop.
Yeah.
Social media is just entertainment. Mm-hmm. Like, and like, no disrespect to you, but like, how often do you see me in your stories that I watched it? I don't really watch too much shit.
Yeah, likewise.
I'll see yours. If I get on it, I see yours up top, I see it, right?
Yeah.
But I post and I watch a couple reels, but all my shit's comedy.
Yeah.
Right? I don't have like the twerking bitches on my shit. Like, my algorithm is great.
Yeah,
my kids can watch my algorithm.
Right.
They might see someone get shot, so maybe not. But you got, my point is that you have a lot of these kids out there who just, they're all driven by ego, and it's all about what someone thinks on social media.
Yep.
Once I realized, like, oh, as long as my kids respect me, the people I love and the people I'm very close to, they know me and respect me, I don't give a fuck about opinions.
Yeah.
You can call me whatever you want from right there.
Right.
As long as you don't approach me, you know? But the problem is you have a lot of people running to it. So you call me a bitch,
Yeah.
I'm going to run to you. Now you kill me.
Yeah.
And it's the same concept.
Damn.
And oftentimes, you know, the bravest person is the first one to die.
Damn, bro. That's
Like
no, that's good. That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. That's solid right there, bro. Okay. So where can people find you? And I mean, like, as far as the book, you said maybe this year?
Yeah, I'm like halfway through.
Okay.
I restarted that bitch like 4 times.
Okay. All right. We'll just say maybe early 2026.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I would like Christmas time, but yeah.
Okay. So we're give people your socials. Where can people find you?
Reckless MMA, on everything basically. Then obviously Ryan Attebery on my Facebook. And then Reckless on YouTube, it's either Reckless Media 91 or Reckless MMA, but
We'll double check on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Figure it out. No, just but
Uh-huh.
yeah, and I know it got rambling, but you asked me a very good question, so it makes me kind of think in the moment.
Oh no, you're good,
Yeah,
bro.
so
Is there anything that you would like to say that we didn't get a chance to cover? Something that you probably thought about on the way over here?
nope.
Good?
Yeah.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
Wow.
I just simply came and this is your show. I like the questions you asked me. That's why I like doing your show. That's why I like just sitting. That's why I like conversating with you in general.
Oh no, likewise, bro. When I feel like when we have conversations, like just like obviously off the air and everything, they get pretty deep, man.
Yeah.
And I think it comes from like obviously you have an understanding with everything, and then I don't know, I try to be understanding with things too. So talking to you sometimes, I'm just like I kind of like it resonates with me. Sometimes I'm like, damn, bro, like
It's easy to like be understanding when you've really lived it, when you've been through it.
yeah,
But one thing I said too, like the reason this was so important to come, like you see all this shit. I had to go pick up my son from boxing. I had to go to Atwater, all types of shit.
yeah,
But the reason is because the version of me I want to be put out there,
yeah,
I don't know how to do it myself yet.
yeah.
And I knew you'd bring that out of me. So that's
appreciate
why it's
that,
so
bro.
important. That's why it's like I'm like this was mandatory. You know, so
Bro, I appreciate
yeah,
that.
that's literally my exact words.
That means a lot, man.
Because she knows the real me, obviously. Like
Yeah.
I was with her as a teenager, and you know, so.
Damn.
But yeah.
Damn, bro. Well, thank you, man. I
no
appreciate you, bro. Cheers, bro. Cheers to the little
Yeah.
sir.